The cooking of Indian dishes is considered an art in most parts of the world, even in South Africa. We're in the heart of Durban, where this cooking is not just an art. I'm Jacinta Timothy, and welcome to SpiceWorks, where we bring you the art of Indian cooking. Don't forget, at the end of our show, viewers stand a chance to win a set of aluminium pots right here on SpiceWorks. Joining me today is my co-host, Asha Maharaj, who's going to tell us what's on the menu for today. Asha.
Hi, Jacinta. Today I am preparing two delicious mince dishes. One, the all-time favorite, kebabs and roti, and the other, a spicy meatloaf.
Tell me, are these time-consuming dishes?
Not at all. Actually, I'm going to show our viewers how one could make this with ease and convenience.
All right then. After the break, stay tuned for the spicy dish. Welcome back to SpiceWorks, where Asha Maharaj is just about to start our process. Asha.
Jacinta, I'm going to use lean mince. I have 2 kilograms of it here. And I'm going to add all my fresh herbs and the powdered spices, garlic and ginger, and make up a mixture that is so versatile. It could be used for the kebabs as well as the meatloaf.
All right.
Okay, so
what do you need first?
I'm going to start adding the spices, if you'd be kind enough. Thank you. This is turmeric, just to give it a bit of nice color. Then we add a bit of chili powder, jeera, and garam masala.
All right.
Thank you. And I need the salt. Salt to taste. Remember, the kebabs are going to go into the gravy. So, yes, so we have to take it a little bit easy on the salt.
Yes.
Okay. Garlic and ginger. This is garlic. Use a good amount of garlic because it needs to be well flavored.
All right.
And this is the ginger. Right. I'm going to give it a good mix before I add my greens.
What is the purpose of using fresh herbs?
Well, the powdered spices give it flavor, but the fresh herbs give it texture and flavor. It's always important to have something fresh with the juices. Okay, I'm just going to mix this in like now.
Okay.
If you just give me the onion, please. Now, as I've got it here, you could actually put the topping and put it into the oven straight away and cut it up and serve it like a pizza.
Right,
with a pizza
you can do
without,
so much with
without
mince.
the flour base. There's so much you can do with mince. Okay. Now, if you'd be kind enough to give me the eggs. This is grated boiled eggs.
Can you use different filling?
Yes, you
or do
can.
you have to stick with this?
You know, I've also tried pureed spinach, which works beautifully. Okay, now I'm just going to begin to roll this. Going to enclose it. Just hem the sides in so it stays
So it's
intact.
airtight.
It's liquid proof.
Asha, how long will this have to be in the oven and at what temperature?
If you put it on at 190 degrees, you leave it for 30-35 minutes, it will set beautifully.
Okay, let's put it in the oven. All right. Stay tuned. After the break, we go on to our next menu, roti with kebabs. Welcome back to SpiceWorks, where Asha is about to prepare our kebabs and roti. Let's go. Asha?
Okay, we've got to prepare the chutney as I'm molding the
I'll
kebabs.
mold that for you then.
All right. If you'd like to go on that way. The meatballs do shrink quite a bit, so keep it sort of fairly large.
Okay.
We need to put in the oil into the...
Have you used lean mince here?
Yes, I have used lean mince. You know, you don't get so much of shrinkage with the loss of fat.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is a lot healthier. I mean, who wants meatballs floating in a lot of fat in paste?
True.
Okay. Now we're going to put in the oil. Very little oil because, you know, whatever fat is here will be released when we are cooking it. So I'm going to start off by adding
your whole
spices. That's the bay leaves, cinnamon sticks. We just break it up for even distribution of flavor. And about 3 bay leaves. And now we're going to add some of the whole spices. I will do that
here.
Okay. We need a bit of salt, which is fennel seeds. And we need a few cloves. just to give it a bit of heat. Okay. Just give it a slight stir. And now I'm going to add in the onions.
Okay.
I'm going to add in quite a bit of onions because I want a nice thick gravy.
You want nice chutney.
Chutney, yes. So the onions will cook to become nice and thick, you know. We're not going to fry it until it is brown. Just going to cook it until it's
Soften
thick and softened. And it will continue cooking in the sauce, in the tomato chutney. Okay. And at this stage, I'm going to add in the garlic and the ginger. Okay, this is the ginger. The garlic. Now, if you wish at this stage, you can add a few slivered green chilies, but it's not all that necessary because we've got enough of a heat agent in it. We've got cloves there, we've got chilies here, so I think we'll just give that a miss for the time being. Okay. But what I do need is the curry leaves. Whilst that's sauteing, I'll get the rest of the ingredients ready.
Okay.
Just the meatballs. This is the tomato. I have here grated tomato and a bit of tomato puree as well. It just helps to give it a nice color and consistency.
How many tomatoes do you use? Do
you know,
use quite
you
a bit?
grate up tomatoes until you get 2 cups of grated and half a cup of puree. So that's what I have here.
Does the puree add to the taste or just the consistency?
It adds to the taste as well as the consistency. It's got a little bit of, a slightly sourish taste, which you need.
Well, this is very acidic. What do you use to maybe, you know,
just to tone it down a bit?
Yes.
Just a pinch of sugar. Just sprinkle it. You know, always when you cook with tomatoes and you're making chutney, it's nice to add a bit of sugar as well. So you get it, you know, you neutralize the sour taste. Okay. Some of my powdered spices at this stage.
Okay.
Powdered chili, turmeric, jeera, dhania, and a bit of garam masala.
And then give it a stir.
Just give it a stir.
And I give it a stir. What's the importance of actually the stages? You know, you put the onions in first, then you do the spice, and only then do you add your tomato.
Yes, I want the onion to cook because I want them to cook at different stages. The onion has to soften before the tomato goes in.
Okay. There's a bit more.
Okay.
There you go.
We add the tomato puree at this stage.
All of them.
Yes, all of it. Fine.
You don't add any water.
No, I'm not going to add any water to this because the meat will give off enough juices and be enough to cook up the, you know, the meat, the meatballs. I'm going to add salt at this stage. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is come to a boiling point. As it comes to a boiling point, you add, you know, yes, you just place it. Make sure that they're nicely
Firm.
they're well squeezed in like this, you know. You know, whilst I'm at it, let me show you. You can actually just make a nice patty and put it onto the grill. And
just flatten it.
you
with
can
the same
flatten
mixture.
With the same mixture. You could also take this and put it onto a skewer, you know, and put it onto the braai, and you got a shish kebab.
Okay. So this mixture
This
is really
very versatile. You can do lots with this mixture.
So how long do we leave this on for?
We'll leave it for about 20 minutes, but in which time it will release its juices. It will cook up in its own juices as well. They will all fit because you'll notice as it
starts shrinking.
Yes, as it shrinks.
Alright.
Okay, that's it. We're going to put the lid on, and so that we don't have much of the steam escaping, because we want the gravy to cook.
To all simmer. Right. Now that our kebabs are simmering, we'll get onto the roti.
Yes,
Can you tell
certainly.
us how we go?
Okay, we have flour here. I need 2 cups of flour.
It's just ordinary cake
Ordinary
flour.
cake flour. I'm just going to reserve a little bit for dusting. And I need oil, 2 tablespoons of oil. For every 1 cup of flour, you add 2 tablespoons of oil. Now this is a dessert spoon, so I'm going to use 3. But if you have a 15 ml spoon, you just use 2. As I have the boiling water, please.
This is hot water. Now, why hot water?
Hot water keeps it nice and soft. And it keeps the roti nice and soft. Actually, it's just off the boil. That's how we need it.
Is that the right way?
That's the right way.
And so you get it into a dough.
You just mix it until all the flour adheres to a mass, and then you start kneading it until you get a nice soft dough.
All right.
Okay, you've got to use your hands for this.
Now you get your hands in.
Get my hands in. You knead until it comes off the bowl, nice and clean.
It's very simple ingredients: cake flour, oil, and hot water.
That's all it is.
That's all.
Okay. Okay. Now that I've gathered up all into a mass of dough, I need to just divide them into balls. And
how many rotis will we get out of this?
Depending on how thick you want to make it. The bowl is nice and clean. Okay, you work on the board here.
I'm just going to turn our meatloaf is really going well.
Beautiful. Okay. Just dust it in some flour. I'll divide the portions, and before we start, we've got the tawa on there.
Yes.
It's heating up quite nicely. Okay, let me begin to roll now. I'll just leave this dough here. Can I have some of the flour? You just dust enough flour on the board, it'll prevent it sticking.
Okay. And what do you use to put into the tawa?
That's a non-stick tawa. Going to baste the roti with ghee. Can we check on the meatball so long? Let's see how it's doing. See how much of juices the meat has given, and it's sort of shrunk to a smaller size.
The balls have gone a bit small, yeah.
At this stage, we'll just sprinkle on about half a teaspoon of sugar.
Okay.
Is that the sugar?
No, we'll just do some.
We need the tawa to be nice and hot. Should we move it here?
Okay. Gas normally cooks faster.
And put that there.
Yeah, just hold on to that. And then I'll just move this.
It needs fast fire, so we cook it here.
Do you want to baste with a ghee?
Yes. Just take a bit of ghee here. And you don't need a pastry brush for this. I actually use a piece of cloth for this. Can you get me the cloth?
No. You don't make it brown. You just gotta really.
It has to get freckles on it, little brown freckles.
Little brown. Turn it now. Oh, I see. It's beginning to get the brown.
It is beginning to get the
You think it's getting there? I like your little cloth.
Yes, you know, this is something that I use all the time in the kitchen. Just a nice little piece of calico. You know, you use a new piece each time if you wish.
Yes.
So, you know, you got a nice clean one each time. And this way you can actually feel the roti. You can press it down and you can feel it. And it also helps when you want to pick it up, you know, you don't burn your fingers.
Yeah. Wow, so easy and simple to make. We'll be right back after the break for our taste test and our viewers competition. Welcome back to SpiceWorks. This week we're going to ask Asha to give us a question to the viewers competition.
Yes, and I hope you're going to give us the correct answer. My question is, what type of filling did we use for the meat roll?
If you know the correct answer, send the details to the address you see on screen or email us at spiceworks@fubulous.com. Right now we're going to take the meat roll out of the oven.
Let's see what's happening there.
Asha, just close it for me. Should take this. Let's lift it up. You take it from that side. Okay.
Okay.
Remove that for you. Oh. Okay. Remove that, and then you center it. Wow. It smells lovely. You can just smell the dhania and the mint. Just so lovely. Okay. Should we cut it and put it on?
You know, ideally one should let it settle for a while, but
Oh, let's let it settle and let's look at our kebabs.
Yes, okay.
All right. Wow, that looks lovely. And kebabs.
The kebabs are done. With just enough gravy to coat it and some juices there for you to mop up with the roti.
You want it to dish something?
Yes. Some of the gravy as well.
The gravy is the important bit. Okay. Join us again next week for another edition of SpiceWorks, where we'll cook up a wonderful dish. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Until then, bye-bye.